Hello everyone and welcome to Gary Grigsby's War in the East with a final series. I'm recording this while I'm actually on holiday. So these are all pre-recorded while I'm taking a much needed break from both work and making videos. I feel like this is, at least for the moment, the last campaign that I'll be doing for Gary Grigsby's War in the East, at least until there might be some DLC. None of the other campaigns are very interesting to show off, at the very least, and after the success of the previous campaign through 1941 and the ongoing campaign, which is nearly finished by this time, of the Stalingrad to Berlin campaign. Oh, that's interesting. We have only this left. Now, this scenario is unwinnable for the Germans. I will go over in the victory screens what will be the ultimate best outcome, which I think most likely will be the saving of Berlin by game's end. Most likely. At any rate, the Soviets are smashing like ever before. Not like Stalingrad with their weak punch. This is actually a bit more serious. In fact, I think I'll be struggling to find any kind of forces to hold a defensive line, most likely, throughout this entire campaign. So this really is about defense and such. Now, we already know from the Stalingrad to Berlin campaign that campaign is quite winnable, and to be frank, it's not super hard to win that either. The problem, of course, well, it's not really a problem, but the thing is, of course, is that you will probably see a Kursk type of scenario with any kind of DLC from this game. And the Kursk scenario, according to the current game rules, is unwinnable as well, as you'll need 800 points by June. So there's just, even from there's no way to get that. That's already unwinnable. At least for the Germans, in the sense that they can't get a automatic victory. Pretty much the same as here. There's like no way of doing that. Also, I don't think you will ever be in a position to destroy Soviet forces in this mission. Like, you just don't have the manpower to encircle and destroy the Soviets, I think. It really does not look like we will be able to do that through any means. My immediate goal for this scenario, at the very least, is to scramble and scrounge together whatever forces I might find after this here offensive, and try to make a stand potentially at the Oder River and see if I can hold Berlin for a while. I will have to see how that goes with the Western Front. We'll still have a few theater boxes. We'll have Norway. We'll have the Balkans still, I think. The Italy theater box as well. And that's probably it. We'll probably have Italy, Western, Norway, and Balkans. Finland is already out, obviously, by this stage. So that's not there either. I'll try to scramble as many forces from some of those areas as possible. I think holding northern Italy is probably a good idea, although the Western Allies going through there by this stage is way too late for them anyway. That doesn't really matter if we lose the Italians. The only thing we can do now is hold on to Berlin as long as possible, basically, and try to eke out some peace. Although, to be fair, I actually think that holding out too long might give the Germans a fate much worse than what historically happened. Namely, the A-bomb. Whether the Western Allies would have actually pulled a bomb on Germany, or especially Berlin, is to be doubtful. We know they did it in Japan, but to put it on a European city is something else. For the Germans, I think, or for the Americans historically, I think they'd be more reluctant to use those bombs on European cities, as I think the backlash from the other Western powers would have been bigger. Whereas with Japan, they're a lot more isolated. Yeah, there's China, but with the communists in power, I don't think really that the Americans felt that that would have been that bad. So I think the Americans would have been more reluctant to put on Germany, but they might have put an A-bomb on them. It would have been a possibility. One thing that's a bit problematic in this mission too is, and I read this from the manual, is because we don't have certain cities anymore. We actually, any units that route now, or are that are destroyed, not route, sorry, that are destroyed, are removed from the game permanently. So units are allowed to route, but if they are to leave the map through destruction, like in this case, this shattering, I think, it means they're gone from the game for good, which is also very sucky. I actually think that this offensive from the Russians here is a lot tougher than it was in the first game, which is pretty interesting because I think the Soviets are actually weaker in the Stalingrad to Berlin campaign than they were in the first game. I think it was harder in the first game to hold on to Stalingrad and such. But I'm not completely sure how I fared back then. Since it was on my old channel, so I have all that content removed. I think this will go on for quite a while more. And this is just the starting of the Soviet AI. Wow. Well, this is something different. Yeah. The Germans sure got an ass kicking there. I think we'll not have access to all these units at Radom here. They'll all get kicked out, all get routed and or retreated. Most likely all routed. Whatever potential fight they would have been able to put up, that's just a no-go. Yeah. 61 in strength here. Bye. Those are some top-notch Russian generals. They're Gopatsky, Chuikov. Those are the guys. Don't know this guy. Third shock, huh? tossing my forces around like a rag doll. Whee! Oh, there's some Polish in there too. They already got their first Polish army. That's mighty unfortunate. Yeah. Whee! This fun only stops when the Soviets run out of action points. Jesus. Oh, man. There's also potential encirclement of whatever forces are still left here. I can't even leave some of those guys there. I have to give the Soviets clear way, because I cannot use anything to stop them here. Yeah, goodbye. This stuff might be an entire first episode. It's just looking at the Soviets running rampant over my forces. Let's just enjoy the show. Wonder what the high power artillery battalion has. It would be interesting to check that out, really. Another thing that might actually be pretty interesting to play as is to see how quickly as the Soviets you can get to Berlin from the Stalingrad to Berlin campaign. It's not so interesting, I think, to play from the 1941 campaign as it is, as the Soviets, as there's... the Germans aren't going to win anyway, and then you can play it on the highest difficulty just to see how difficult things get. Might be interesting, but it's not something that would be immediately on my list anyway. As there are plenty of other games, and I've been playing this game for quite a while already, I think I've squeezed enough entertainment out of it for the moment. Goodbye, Panzer Division. One thing that's very different, I think, in this game compared to the... Please just route, man. I'd really like those guys to route. Anyway, as I was saying, I am sincerely... well, what I think is interesting is that we probably have much less incentive to keep the Army Group North where it is right now. They're of course in the Courland pocket. And I'm a bit loath to keep them there. I'll actually try to get as many forces out from that kind of position to get them back to Berlin. Try to put up some kind of effort there. As yeah, they're holding a lot of Soviets there, but it would take those Soviets a pretty long time to relocate anyway. And it might save me some time. Like, if it gives me another 2 weeks holding Berlin by getting those forces out there, having those Soviets relocate, I don't really mind. They did take Krakow. Yeah. Ah, shit. They did not actually encircle that, or did not actually kick out that unit. It really sucks because it means I'll either have to try to save it for a turn or and have them kick it out next turn. Yeah. Dang it. This will be something quite different indeed. We'll have to take a look at whatever air units we still have left. They'll be no good at the front. I will have to relocate most of it to Germany itself, at the very least. Soviet points, 735. I don't think there's some victories left for them, but friendly losses, 100,000. 119,921. Soviets also lost a lot, but it's negligible for them. I got a lot of trucks, but I don't need that. Events, let's go. These are raids from 1945. 8th AF raids. Conducted its final operations with some of their largest bombing missions of the war. Bombing attacks concentrate on German rail yards and synthetic fuel. Oh, there we go. 15th AF raids. 15th AF continues attacks on German rail and transportation. There is a garrison shortage in Italy. Apparently. Germany fully mobilizes, having lost hundreds of thousands of men in Normandy fighting and facing Allied armies sweeping across France. Germany orders full mobilization of its available manpower. Many Luftwaffe and naval personnel are quickly transferred to the ground forces, while additional men are called up for military duty. This manpower is insufficiently trained in ground combat operations. Situation report. Having concluded the very successful Operation Migration in summer of 1944, which destroyed large parts of Army Group Center and trapped Army Group North in the Courland pocket, the Soviet Army stopped its advance to allow a large buildup of men and material. At the start of January 1945, the Soviets are prepared to launch a series of strategic offensives all along the front, beginning with the Vistula Oder operation. This aims to push the Soviets into the territories of the Reich. Having lost a vast number of experienced formations in the summer of 1944, Army Group Center lost 28 out of 34 divisions, and following the transfer of highly mobile units west to take part in the Ardennes offensive, the German situation in the east on January 1945 is a precarious one. Army Group North is cut off by land and is trapped in the Courland pockets. The reformed Army Group Center is stretched thin, defending East Prussia. Army Group A faces a massive concentration of Soviet units in Poland, being vastly outnumbered in men, guns, tanks, and aircraft, and without any significant reserves that can be used to hold back a Soviet offensive. Army Group South has the only remaining Axis ally, Hungary, are tenaciously holding the Trans-Danube region and Slovakia, while the German 9th SS Mountain Corps and the 1st Hungarian Corps are besieged in Budapest. The German Wehrmacht is a ghost of its old self and is desperately trying to contain the Soviet juggernaut, which seems unstoppable. The Soviets will not stop until they have captured Berlin. To be fair, I actually want to try and get the Allies to take Berlin as well. I'm going to try and hold out as much as possible if I can, but in the case that I can't, I will try to let the Allies win. Going over the victory points, there's one check date, 1st of April 1945 for 950 victory points. We'll see how that goes. Does it say anywhere when they will win in this game? Not here. And this is nothing. Well, yeah, it doesn't show it here, but I will discuss the victory later. Let's just take a look here first. We still have the Balkans theater box. We're at 99. Cannot take any units out at all. In fact, we'd actually need to get more units in there. These are probably Axis generic. No, actually German. Okay. So quite a few units there. Interestingly too, an Italian 24th SS Mountain Division. They have only German units as well. Does it have a wiki? It does not. The Italian front, the Germans have been pushed quite high up, of course, where we hold on to Rimini and La Spezia. Basically a small area here. We're at 92% ground, so we have too little, but we have enough air and naval. Don't need too much of that. We can take some stuff out. Very little, but I will likely do that, namely 2 heavy panzer battalions and the 14th Panzer Corps HQ, but no other tank units. Well, the only thing that's there is the 26th Panzer Division anyway, and a bunch of Panzer Grenadiers. It's interesting that they find it necessary to mention the 11th Fallschirmjäger Reconnaissance Battalion as a mechanized unit. It's a battalion strength unit is shown like this. That, yeah. A few Italian units here. Still. Vittorio Division, eh? They do have Italian stuff, but then... Yeah, okay, it's actually all Italian, indeed. Even Italian Panzerschreck, okay. Pretty good. Then we have Norway, which has an abundance of units. I cannot take anything out though, sadly enough. Except Air Fleet 5, but no thanks. Western Front has a lot of ground units, so I'll probably relocate some stuff as I can. I'd rather get that down way more. Let's see what we can actually take out. I'll probably try to get some Panzer divisions over to the east, or as many units as I can in order to get some frontage. Let's start with some heavy panzer battalions. So we'll send some King Tigers over to the map. Secondly, I want to get artillery transferred to the map. Let's just constantly check how high we are in terms of ground. Panzer Grenadier divisions can also be sent. A map 120. Let's send the 17th SS Panzer Grenadier Division 119 and the 15th. I'll try to keep it to 100, but it means I can indeed send some units away. To the map, let's send these folks Grenadier units. Sturm Squad minus, huh? What's the difference? These guys have STGs. These guys too. But these also have some light machine guns and pistols. $116, so I can still go down. I cannot transfer any of those. Let's get those Volks artillery units to the map. Third Fallschirmjäger. So again, 5th Panzer Army, but I don't think I'll be taking that army this time. The 9th Panzer Division stayed in the west. Well, let's send Panzer Lehr first and 116th Panzer Division. 112. Let's take this Panzer Corps. And I can still keep a reasonably good standing even now. Even while taking everything away here. 105 can't hurt. Alright, there we go. I'll take as much as I can get. Anything to stop the Soviets, really. Let's also look in the reserve. What do we have here? Army Group Vistula. Both are. I thought Heinrich Himmler had that. Anyway, the 32nd SS Grenadier Division is ready for combat. Let's see, none of these guys seem to actually go to the map by themselves, so I'm inclined also to just get them there. Especially units like this, they can dig in, stuff like that. Let's send them to the map. Like 70 TOE by this stage of the game I think is good enough. And I'm gonna let them refit the rest of the time on the map so that at least they can build fortifications as well. This is too much, like 7% is clearly not what you want. But let's transfer these to the map, just like the 9th Fallschirmjäger Division. There are some heavy Werfers to the map. How well was I in Italy? How much did I need there anyway? I need a good 15. Nah. Let's just send them to Italy there. Whatever. Alright. That's our theater boxes. Then next, I want to be discussing some of this stuff. So, I don't know what the Germans were thinking, but I'm not going to have this Pomeranian defensive line stay here. Well, let's just get these air forces first. So, I have... what do I have here? A few tactical bombers. I don't want them there. I kind of have to think about how I'm relocating units again, because I kind of don't remember. Actually, pretty sad. Strategic bombing, air directive, air superiority. This is just showing the battle sites. And Let's at least send these bombers to the reserve for now. TG1 is transports. I see. To be fair though, I kind of want to keep at least the Jagerstrader 54 here. There's currently just snowfall. How are these? These are recon units. Let's keep them there too. The thing is, I don't think having these there is necessarily that great of an idea. Let's send these to the reserve for the moment. Then I'll only have the recon units. And to be fair, I kind of want them in the back as well, together with you. So actually, well, the thing is, I'm gonna try to hold on to those 3 bases any which way, so that's fine. Okay, then we have Jagerstrader 1, which hopefully are all trained as fighters too. Yeah. But I don't think them being at Gerdauen is going to be a very great idea. In fact, actually, for the moment, I only want to have them up there. At Neuhausen, Königsberg, and Pilau. They'll be in the back there, as I'll be defending this area. Then Jagerstrader 51 will go back, so we'll have them. Let's also see, these are all BF 109s. Yeah. They're currently also at Königsberg and Pilau, but if I already have Jagerstrader 1 with a good 130-ish fighters there, I'd rather have these guys move all the way back to behind the Oder. Air Day here is at 92. Technically, that means that I would need more fighters in there. I was in Italy. 108. Well, then I guess Jagerstrader 51 in its entirety. I need to send them to the reserve first, and then from the reserve I will send them to the Western Front, where I will try to get at least 100 in terms of air power. I can't send them from the reserves this turn, so I'll have to do that next turn. SG3. That's a fairly big area. Tactical bombers. All of them. Again, I think I'll want them in air bases around here. Again, behind the Oder. Let's get all of them at that one airfield then. They won't. Okay, well, never mind that. Yeah, that's that one thing. That's putting that on. Yeah. Let's see. This is 48 tactical bombers. Well, send them to the reserve for the moment. SG-1 are also tactical bombers. Let's send them to Dresden. And then there's the long-range recon group. Which will all get sent to the reserve. To be honest, I don't have that much use for them. Especially not now. Maybe later, but I'll just be moving back and back and back. Flieger für Ostsee. They're currently in those areas and at Pillau. So in Pillau they have these recons. And to be honest, I'd rather just send those guys over there. At least send them by the rail. Yes. That keeps Fliegerführer Ostsee also behind the Oder. So that should be good. There are some planes at Turun. And those are 12 recon units. There's so much smaller recon unit. I'll be fine sending them over to... Well, actually, let's cancel this. Yeah. And let's send all of them to Fürstenwalde. Yeah. At the Seelove Heights. So those are secure. Okay, let's continue. We have these recon units. I need to get them out. Yeah, let's send all of them over there. Which means that the ones in the Lutz area are out. And now we're... Oh, that's a lot. NJG. Nachtjagdgeschwader. Or Nachtjagdgeschwader. Jagdgeschwader. Fair enough. But I'd rather have these guys safe and secure behind for Berlin as well. They'll be going there. 8 out of 8. Good. That's a lot of planes, but we're at a point where these air fleets can be intermixed anyway. Like, it's not as if I need to keep those guys separately at this point. They're at Fürstenwalde and Katowice.